Well, hello and greetings. My name is Joan Graham, and I've got a series running called Have a Chat. So today we're going to talk to a clinical nutritionist who has had some great success, been in the industry for 30 odd years. And I just got a really simple little question for him today let's see if he can answer it. So welcome to Ross Harty.
Hello, Joan, and thank you for listeners for joining us.
And thank everybody for their time to stop and listen to this. Now, would you like to tell the people a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I'm a clinical nutritionist. I travel around Australia helping people, also do Skypes and things like that internationally. So, and it ranges from autoimmune, cancer to asthma.
Okay, that's a pretty wide area there then.
Sure.
So I just have one question for you today, little question, just a little tiny question, and it is why water?
Water. Water is essential to life as much as air is, and we just take water for granted. We can only survive a few days without water, where we can 2 weeks or so without food.
Okay.
So water is absolutely essential for our health, for our well-being, for better health. Some people will say, I don't really drink much water, maybe a glass a day. And I can certainly tell. I was visiting people in hospital yesterday, some clients of mine, and both of them had saline drips in them. They were dehydrated. And majority of people that I see are dehydrated. And it's just simply getting good quality filtered water into you, and it can change your health around in a very short period of time.
So can you just explain the saline drips for people who don't know what's contained in them?
Sure. So typically it's water, cleansed water with 9% sodium chloride. Typically we classify that as the bad salt, table salt. I'm sure that you'll end up having a series talk. Someone will be talking about Himalayan salt. I'm a big believer in Himalayan salt. Has 84 minerals in it, where sodium chloride, just 2. And that does harden the arteries, does give us high blood pressure, and where the Himalayan salt does not. So just simply by turning around our lives, by drinking a little bit more water, we can change our lives dramatically.
Okay, so how much water should we be drinking a day?
Okay, this is a huge question, and the answer does vary so much. So the AMA will tell us that men should be drinking 3.7 litres of water per day, women 2.7 litres per day. Now, the problem is that I have people in Tasmania, that might be okay. People in Darwin, that's not okay. And we have to take into account what our job description is. If we're a school teacher or a policeman or a doctor, you're talking all day long, and potentially you will lose 2 litres of water just through conversation.
Okay,
the
that's a big
clothes
number.
that we wear, if we're wearing suits or heavy clothing for protection or safety, we have to add water. If we go to the gymnasium or do walking or exercises, we have to add water. So really it depends where you live, around the 2.7 litres for women and 3.7 for men is a great sort of general rule. but I have a rule. It's 1 litre per 25 kilos of body weight.
Okay. Okay. So if you were 100 kilos, you would need 4 litres a day.
Correct.
Okay.
And that is more a better link than saying 2.7 for women, because you might have a 50 kilo lady, and that's just not right.
Okay, so 75 kg would be like 3 litres.
3 litres.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, but then it also depends on how active that person is. Somebody working out in the sun would require a lot more than that.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
We have to also realise our brain and cardiovascular system is about 75% water. So if we're dehydrated, that's the common denominator there, is that people go, I can't remember where my car keys are. Did I turn the iron off? Did I close the front door? You're dehydrated.
Okay.
If there's constipation there, typically you are dehydrated. And so many people are coming to the clinic or saying that, yes, I'm constipated.
Okay. So I believe that if you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's too far. You've gone too far already. And the golden rule really with water, a doctor 30 years ago that used to train me used to say that you must sip the water, not guzzle the water, in his terms. Don't guzzle it. So don't drink a 600 ml bottle in one go. Otherwise, 20 minutes later, you're going to wee it out. If you sip your water, you will retain the water, just like in hospital. The saline drips, it's drip, drip, drip. And the people in hospital, you don't go to the toilet as much as what you would think, because you're actually getting into the bottom of the cell.
Okay. Okay. That sounds like it's good news. So
Absolutely.
So should we drink specific water? Should we avoid spring water, for instance, or reverse osmosis water? What's the story on those waters?
Sure. So it should be clean, filtered, fresh water.
Okay.
And I say fresh, we can go down the street and buy a bottle of water, and we don't know, we can't classify that as fresh. Yes, it may have come out of a spring. It may be spring water. We don't know whether that's taking 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to arrive here. Was it on a ship? Was it on the docks? Was it in the sun for days, weeks, months? Was it in the supermarket, in the docks? So that will end up with pesticides. And there is university studies saying that there is pesticides in bottled water now.
Okay.
So pesticides ends up turning into estrogen, which particularly females do not want, xenoestrogens into their body and changing their hormones.
Okay, well, that's some great information.
So reverse osmosis, you were talking about that. Reverse osmosis is very, very good. It takes out all the nasties, but it also takes out all the minerals. So if you do have a reverse osmosis filter, you do have to replace the mineral content.
Okay.
So there's a plus and a minus with reverse osmosis.
Okay, so where do we access good water? Through our taps?
No, not normally. And this is where the biggest issue is. I see so many people now with gut issues.
Okay.
And they may say, I'm dairy intolerant or gluten intolerant. And what may have set it off was actually poor water. So when I do country in particular, they'll have their bore water or their rain water. So we have to think about where they gather their water from. So on top of the roof, they're aerial spraying 20 kilometers away. A drift will go onto the roof itself. When it rains, it goes into the tank, and you're drinking these pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, whatever they are. You're drinking that and upsetting your gut. And that can lead to many disastrous complications down the line.
Okay.
So we have to get really good filters and fresh, drink it fresh. When you drink bottled water, you just don't know where the sources come from and how old that water actually is. Water is life.
So are there certain properties we should look for in our drinking water that will help our bodies?
No.
You're a little grub. What did I say that triggered you?
What properties do we need in water? I wanted to get to the hydrogen later, but that's all right. So we can start again. That's okay. You got time?
Yeah, that was really good though. I like
We're getting
that.
better. Yep,
Yeah.
we're getting better. That's all right.
So I'll just leave you bring in hydrogen when you want to.
Yeah. I'll just say, look, what I do, I actually have a filter. So you can say, so what water do you have? What filter do you have?
Okay.
I'll
What
say,
water do you
well,
drink?
look,
Yeah.
I actually have da 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 da. You know,
So we were up to almost 12 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was pushing it forward a little bit.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, got to get under that. So, if you introduce me, we can cut that out. If you introduce me with 30 years experience or over 30 years experience, I'm a clinical nutritionist, and then I don't have to talk about anything else after that. If they want to check me out, they can check me out.
Okay. Right. All right. Here we go. You're fluffed up.
Son.